Good morning, first grade. How is everyone doing today? All right, we have some more work with Feel the Wind. In today's learning video, we will be focusing on two different things. The first part will be talking about the essential meaning of the text Feel the Wind. And then in the second part, we will talk a little bit more about using multiple sources. So that's something we've been working on over the last several days and lessons. So before we talk about this essential meaning, let's just quickly look at our pizza questions. Always helps to just focus our lessons for the day. The whole pizza question that we are still working on and will continue throughout the rest of this module is, how do people respond to the powerful force of the wind? Then our slice of pizza question is, how is the wind a powerful force? And our bite size, our one bite of pizza question is, what is the essential meaning of Feel the Wind? And that's what we're going to talk about now. So we have spent a few lessons using our buttons and boxes strategy to figure out the main topic of the whole text, but also the main topic of separate sections. So let's just refresh our memory about the main topics. So the whole text really talks about wind. It's all about wind. And then these pages and the different sections, they talked about how you can use your senses to see, hear, and feel the wind. Wind is made when hot air rises and cold air comes in. That was another main topic. Another main topic was the wind can move and push objects. And then lastly, the wind affects the weather. So while we have found the main topics for these sections of text, the essential meaning is a little bit more than just the main topics. The essential meaning is really what we think the author wants to teach us or wants us to gain or learn from reading the text. And the word essential, if we think about the word essential, really means almost the same as important. Really, what is the most important meaning from this text? What does the author really want to teach us? And you can see how that's a little bit different than just what the main topic is. So to help us find the essential meaning, we want to think about what all of the topics were about and see if that can help to give us some clues into what the essential meaning is. Okay, so let's first think about some questions that might help guide us to figure out the essential meaning. So what is the wind? Obviously this book was all about the wind, so that's probably an important question to think about. We learned that it's moving air. We learned that it happens when hot air and cold air change places. And it talked a lot about it's something that we can't see, but we can hear and feel it, and we can see the effects of it. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then, where is the wind? So this book was, again, all about the wind. What if we learned about where the wind is? Yeah, it's all around. It's everywhere. We can tell when the wind, when it's windy, it makes things around us move. It makes, it can make our hair move. It can make, our jackets flap if it's windy. So it's all around us. It's everywhere, all the time. And then lastly, let's think about, what can the wind do? What can the wind do? What are some of the things that we learned in this text and some of our other research that the wind can do? Right, here's some examples I thought of. It can knock down trees. It can change the weather. It brings changes in the weather. It can carry seeds. It can even change the shape of rocks, right? Erosion, we learned about that. It can help kites fly, gliders fly, birds use it to soar. We talked about that. And then wind can also be used to make electricity, which can help do certain jobs for us, like grind grain, saw wood, it can lift water. These were all things that the wind can do. Okay, so if we think about those questions, all the topics, right? It's all around us. We can't see it, but we can see and feel the effects of it. We can hear it. It can knock over trees, but it can also help in good ways by making electricity. So what do you think the essential meaning is? What do you think? Kind of taking all of that into consideration. Yeah, I would say that the wind is a pretty big part of our lives, and it may not be something that you think about on a regular basis. When I'm not reading this text, I probably don't really think about it all that much, but it really is a big part of our life, and it's a powerful force that can do a lot of good, but it can also do harm in hurting trees and can damage things when it's really really a strong wind. So to put kind of that all together in one sentence that can tell about the essential meaning, I would say that the wind is a powerful force in many of our lives. The wind is a powerful force in many of our lives that kind of takes care of all of those, it's a big part of our life, it's a powerful force, it's all around us. That kind of combines all of those ideas that we gained from the main topics into one essential meaning. Now, you may remember when we've talked about essential meaning in the past, we always want to make sure that there is evidence to support what we think the essential meaning is, right? And you probably have seen these essential meaning charts, the oval chart where we put the essential meaning in the middle, and then we find examples from the text that support the essential meaning. So let's just look at a couple of pages quickly. So the wind is a powerful force. So that is a part of this essential meaning, talking about how it is a powerful force. So let's just look at a few pages that show and tell us the wind is a powerful force. So if I open up to page 16, it says, some winds blow gently, others blow fast. You can see how fast the winds are blowing by watching how things around you move. A gentle wind makes leaves dance. A strong wind might flap clothes on a line, and then a very strong wind can make even heavy trees sway. So do you think this part of the text supports the idea that the wind is a powerful force? Yeah, I agree. I agree. Let's take a look at another example and see what you think. Okay, here on this part, it says, this is talking about the bicycle, and if now ride into the wind, feel how hard it is to pedal. And if you turn your bike the other way and you try to go the other way and you ride with the wind pushing you along, isn't it easier? So I would say that this is another example of evidence that supports the wind being a powerful force. Now let's look at the wind affects our lives. So that's part of our essential meaning. So the wind affects our lives. 1 second. Sorry about that. All right, so I think we were just talking about how another part of the essential meaning is how wind affects our lives. So if we look at this page, it says, the wind can carry your kite toward the clouds or lift a glider, and then sailboats are pushed along by the wind, blowing against their sails. So these are two things, in our lives where the wind plays a part, right? Do you think this is good evidence to support this part of the essential meaning? Yeah, I agree. I would also say here, when it talks about that wind can be used to lift water, grind grain, saw wood, or make electricity. I mean, that has a big impact and effect on our life. If you've ever lost power, you know how much we rely on electricity. So that is definitely a big part of our lives. And then lastly, the wind is everywhere. So it says on this part, the wind is everywhere. That's another part of the essential meaning. And it says wind is moving air all around us. The wind is at work. It carries the seeds of plants to new places where they can take root and grow. but powerful winds can also carry away the soil plants need. So it's everywhere. And like we talked a little bit about before, it can be used for good, but it can also be harmful in other ways. So I think that this is some good support, some good evidence to support the essential meaning that wind is a powerful force in many parts of our lives. One thing we haven't talked about, the weather. It affects the weather, which greatly affects us on a regular basis. What to wear, what to bring. Do you need an umbrella? Should you wear a jacket? That's an everyday thing that affects us all the time. So I think that we have settled on a really good essential meaning for what the author wants to teach us. And I think we have found some good support, some good evidence to support our essential meaning. All right, so we are going to shift to using multiple sources to research. So if you want to pause and take a quick shake break, that would be fine. And I will get to our next part, okay? Okay, so starting tomorrow, we are going to start working on our informative paragraph to answer our research question about the wind and hurricanes. But today we want to practice identifying research from different sources and figuring out whether the research is similar or different. So if you go into your fourth supply box, the blue that says fourth supply box, and you open up to the side that has all of the math and reading and writing assessments, and you flip through, and if you go past the math pages, and then the yellow vocabulary, and then the green new read pages, you will see the first gray focusing question task. It's stapled, and it says Assessment 6A, Focusing Question Task 1. Now, this will be for our whole writing task, but for today in this lesson right now, we're just focusing on this front page. So you want to keep this in a safe place because we will come back to use this checklist and then the writing for our informative paragraph. But for today, we're just looking at this first page, okay? And I have it on my screen, so if you wanted to pause and grab your folder so you can have it with you while we look at it together. Okay, so here is the same page that you have on your copy. This is the first page. And what we're going to do is practice finding research and details that are similar and that are different from two different sources. So we've done this before in class, and today I'd like you to try, and we'll get started together and then you can finish, where we're going to compare the DK Find Out website, so the website that we took a look at in class, plus the hurricane book that we read during one of our other lessons that was on Epic by Jessica Rudolph. So we have our details that we've written down. And what we want to do is we want to draw a line connecting the details that are the same in the two sources, and then we want to underline any of the facts or details that are different, right? And we've been talking about why that's important, and when you're researching to write something, and you're looking at more than one source, which is a good thing so you can gain more information, you have to figure out, you don't want to write the same thing if it's been in 3 different sources and it's the same exact thing. You can just use that once in your writing. All right, so I'm going to try to draw these lines as best as I can using my computer. So let's look at source number 2, this first point, strong and deadly winds. So is there something over here that really is the same information from the hurricane book? Do you see it? Yeah, I would say right here, I'm going to draw a line from this fact to this fact. Those two are, it's really saying the same exact thing. I'll make it a little thicker. Okay, so I drew a line, and you can do the same on your paper with pencil and draw a line from that first fact on source 2 to the first fact on source 3. Okay? All right, let's look at the next one. blows up to 185 miles per hour. Now, do we see anything on this side that specifically talks about how fast the wind is going? Nope. So I'm going to underline this because that is different information than what I see on the other side. Okay, causes damage. Causes damage. So, okay, now the next one saying causes damage. Now I see over here it says whips up water, knocks trees down, blows off roofs, pushes water onto land, destroys homes and towns. Some of these details talk about causing damage, but I think they go into a little bit more detail. So I would say that they're not quite the same. So I'm going to underline this. And then, I think some of these other details about blasting out windows, knocking trees down, blowing off roofs, I think that's more specific information. Okay. And then lastly, it says whips up huge waves. So I'm going to leave this one for you. And I want you to see, finish underlining and or drawing lines to see what you think. Is there another fact from source number 3 that is very similar to whips up huge waves? And then you can go ahead and underline any of the other facts that don't match up, that are different. And that could be, you can, that can help you as we are getting ready to write our informative paragraph. So we will do that next time. But if you could just finish either drawing a line to similar facts or putting an underline under the fact that is different. And you can take a quick picture of this first page and send it, and then just hang on to this whole packet because we will come back next time and work on the informative paragraph writing. Okay, so any questions, let me know, and I will talk to everybody soon. Bye.